Hey guys, welcome back. We have a midweek energy update to get into, which is also going to double as a weekend energy update this week. We're doing 2-in-1 today, and we have some momentum building, I do think, as we move towards the week. This could be a very busy week. There could be just like a lot going on, a lot happening. You could feel pulled in many different directions, but we do have an exact Mars-Mercury sextile that is playing out all week. Mercury in Leo, now direct, Mars in the sign of Libra. They're moving together. These two planets will be an exact aspect between Wednesday of this week and Monday of next week. And Mars and Mercury in sextile does support our ability to like focus on the task at hand and use our energy to make decisions, cross things off the list, just like generally get things done. This could also be a very like social, out and about type of energy, and things I do think are picking up speed. Now, aside from that, of course, we are also in a very rare window of time right now. We are experiencing this week, pretty much the whole week through Sunday, actually, I think it is, an alignment in the sky between Jupiter and the fixed star Sirius. This alignment was joined by Venus as we got the week started. This really is kind of just like the best of the best of the best in terms of energetic activations. The three brightest bodies in the heavens in alignment with one another could be some type of magical quality to the week, or things just could feel like they're going quite well for some reason. We also have quite a bit of lunar activity that is going on this week that we need to talk about. Things could be surprising you. Again, more of this like information exposed, revelations, finding things out, that kind of like causes changes to take place or redirects the course of things. Lots of energy happening. Let's get into it, you guys. Let's take a look at all that we have going on between now and our entrance into next week and try to get an idea of what we can expect as we navigate this next couple of days. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we are just gonna take a good look at our energy forecast that we have coming in over this next several days, try to get an idea of how things may be playing themselves out there as we navigate between now and the entrance of next week. And as it turns out, you guys, I happen to have some unforeseen circumstances come up, and I have got to take off and go to Alabama tomorrow in the morning. Now, tomorrow in the morning is when I would normally be filming my third video for the week, my weekend video, but that's just not going to be able to happen this week. So instead, we are going to try to cram the whole week's worth of information into this one here video, and then I will catch you guys next week. All things considered, though, really not the worst timing to have to skip out on one of these videos, because we are basically still just riding the wave of this very beautiful energy that I may have been a little bit over the top about in the last video, just because it really is so amazing to me that these three planets would line up as they are or as they did at this point in time. I described in my last video, this is a once in 12-year alignment, and of course I'm talking about the conjunction between Jupiter in the sign of Cancer and the fixed star Sirius, who is located at 14 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter only transits through each sign once every 12 years, so there's only one time in 12 years when Jupiter can align with that fixed star Sirius. And Sirius is a very benefic influence. It has to do with success and fortune and gains and abundance and spiritual enlightenment. Essentially, like all of the good things is represented through the fixed star Sirius energy. And Jupiter, of course, is the Santa Claus planet, and this supersizes things. And this is also like hope and abundance and faith. This is a very, very highly spiritual time, but this is also a time where honestly, like a lot of people are just going to find themselves receiving gifts, abundance, knowledge, like wisdom, faith, all that type of stuff, gratitude, maybe even from the universe, or just things that are interestingly or synchronistically or seemingly divinely oriented that are happening around them somehow. It is a magical window period of time is what I'm trying to say. And again, I talked a lot about it in the last video, but what makes this alignment, this 12-year period time around extra special is the fact that Venus happened to be in that exact conjunction as well. Now, Jupiter takes about 5 days or so to transit 1 degree. So as I was saying, there's only a once in 12-year opportunity for Jupiter to make the exact conjunction that's been going on throughout the course of this weekend. That is still going on, you know, when this video comes out. But then Venus to be in that conjunction as well, like she only had 5 days with which to be passing through that exact specific degree point in order for these 3 planets to align. And of course, Jupiter and Venus are both in ancient astrology referred to as very benefic planets, and that in and of itself has connotations of being a very blessed and fortunate and abundant alignment. And then when we just throw it right there with Sirius, it just takes things kind of to another level in terms of the potential for this like cosmic Santa Claus energy, or just like success or gains or abundance or growth, or again, like some type of positive spiritual experience or something like that, wisdom gain or something like that. Also, you know, the value that results from that. That is how things are likely to be oriented or be orienting themselves somehow this week. As a result, people are probably in a generally good mood, feeling hopeful, feeling optimistic, and more likely to just have that, like, to project that outwards, and therefore, that positivity being extrapolated and kind of rippling through the collective. I do think we are being a bit washed over by a wave of like high heart energy and cosmic positivity this week. And so surrender and open to receive, you guys. And we all have this alignment occurring somewhere in our charts. We all have 14 degrees of the sign of Cancer. That is where this alignment is exact this week. And Monday and Tuesday specifically, again, talked a lot about it in my last video. But we all have that in our chart somewhere. So this is impacting and hitting some area of your life, somewhere you are likely to receive some type of gain, some type of growth, some type of gift throughout the course of this week. And people are also probably just like more generous, more compassionate, more open-hearted. And so I've been saying there's good vibes, and this is because Jupiter is at that degree for, 5 days or so. This is a vibe that is present all week long. So we've got that going on. Also, though, as I mentioned in my intro, we have another energy that is present this week. I actually meant to mention it on Monday in my Monday report as well, but like I somehow missed it in my notes and never brought it up. But we have a Mercury-Mars sextile that is another like lingering dynamic aspect that is taking place this week. It's because Mercury actually, who just stationed direct, is still not moving full speed, is still kind of like moving a little bit slow because, when Mercury stations, Mercury slows down in his motion to station and then takes a little while to regain momentum after stationing. And Mars is a planet that takes about 2 days to transit 1 degree. So actually, since Mercury has stationed, Mercury and Mars are like pacing each other. Mercury is taking about 2 degrees to transit 1 degree, the same as Mars. And so that means between Wednesday of this week and Monday of next week, Mercury and Mars are exactly aligned at the exact same degrees, traveling together between, I think, it was either 3 degrees. I have it later in my notes, and I'll come back and say it again, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. But it's like 3 or 4 degrees of the signs of Leo and Libra to like 7 degrees of the signs of Leo and Libra. And this is like a forward-facing, forward-moving, momentum-building energy. Very mentally active, mentally stimulating, mentally energized, super busy. You could find yourself also focused on moving things forward, driving things forward, gaining momentum yourself somehow. This is also maybe like flashy, charming, charismatic, enthusiastic, very like sociable, extroverted energy. I would say there could be a bit of a dramatic flair to the conversational, interpersonal dynamics of things this week, and highly creative. Another thing, this Mercury-Mars energy, Mars in the sign of Libra, this is a very creative, artistic energy. With Mercury there, this is kind of like refining and focusing that creative potential that comes through with Mars expressing in the sign of Libra. Also, the Venus-Jupiter-Sirius conjunction is like a highly creative and divinely inspired energy as well. And I maintain my stance that this is like a great week for artists or creatives of like all or any kind, authors and writers and stuff like that as well. And I do think that it will be inspiring like the inner creative, the inner mystic, the inner dreamer in all of us to some capacity somehow this week. I think a lot of people are going to be finding themselves sort of having a vision or dreaming of the potential or the possibilities of something and feeling for some reason like maybe it's not as far away or unattainable as they may have previously imagined. Again, there could be a lot of like opportunities or like positive, seemingly divinely aligned connections that are coming in this week with Venus having been part of that auspicious conjunction and at that degree. There also could be an emphasis on like sports or games or shows or performances or performers somehow, but probably lots of activity happening, the drive to get ahead, especially as we move towards the weekend. Mars is also moving out of range of opposition with Neptune and Saturn retrograding in the sign of Aries. That has been, I've been talking about that over this past couple of weeks as well. We've been in like kind of like a strange energy because we've had the grand air trine going on because of Mars's placement in the beginning of the sign of Libra, trining Pluto in Aquarius, trining Uranus in Gemini. And that may have been sort of just like surging things forward in unpredictable ways somehow, but simultaneously with Mars and Libra also opposite Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries, which is Mars's sign, that's also like depleting energy levels and like draining the like ambition and the willpower and the ability to be like very assertive and determined about stuff. So there kind of has been this like push and pull energetic dynamic going on. And then, you know, before that we had Mars in the South Node in a conjunction, which was also a drain and like a depleting energy in terms of physical vitality and feeling like robust and energized energy levels generally. So you may over this past couple of weeks, couple of months been not feeling on top of your game, maybe not feeling like you could keep your head in the game, not feeling disciplined. Also self-discipline and self-control really may have been lacking. But I do think now as Mars is separating from that opposition, continuing to move through the sign of Libra, and we've got this extended Mercury sextile from the sign of Leo, like that's a fire sign, that's inspiring and motivating and enthusiastic as well that we have going on. I think that we're going to start to regain a bit of our energy. And there could be some very creative outputs in which it is expressed, or again, Mercury direct, there could just be this sense of momentum building, progress happening, things finally beginning to move forward somehow. And remember also, Mars is in the sign right now of Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus has been in that super auspicious conjunction this week. This is a week that is indicating on an energetic level blessed actions taking place. Actions, choices, decisions that end up having better results, bigger results, more abundant or successful results and outcomes than perhaps we could have anticipated. So there's that as well. Now, that's basically what I have to say about the overview of energy that we have coming through for the rest of the week. Now I want to start with Wednesday, and we're going to go day by day through the rest of the days, take a look at what's going on with the moon and any other minor aspects that might be coming into play throughout the course of the rest of the week. Wednesday, we do have an Aries moon that is taking place, and the moon in Aries will square Jupiter and Venus and Sirius, still in their conjunction in the sign of Cancer. Now, Venus is no longer in exact alignment to Jupiter and Sirius on Wednesday. She's just 1 degree out though. So, you know, it's basically the same thing, and the moon coming through there actually is just going to again like energize this transit. It's another day that should be quite positively oriented. Moon square Jupiter and Venus, you know, optimistic, positive, hopeful feelings on the inside. Again, this like overflow or this outpouring. There could honestly even be some type of like emotional abundance or emotional even like overwhelm or something like that in the context of like such positive feelings or something like so beautiful coming through. The moon in Aries on Wednesday is also trining the sun in Leo on Wednesday, which is another harmonious, uplifting, inspired, passionate, motivated energy. So between that moon placement, I mean, the squares in astrology, you know, are usually the more tricky aspects, but Jupiterian squares generally not so much. Venus also, you know, that can soften the square to an extent as well. And the only real, you know, again, like this, and this is the whole caution, this is the whole red flag of the energy all week, and I talked about this as well in the video for Monday, but with all of this kind of like over the top, supersized, expansive energy, overindulging, overspending, overcommitting or overpromising, like over consuming, overconsumption and stuff, that we can get carried away. Taking things to excess can bring up a bit of an issue. And it's also funny, I was saying in my last video, actually the Sabian symbol placement where Jupiter and Sirius are in their conjunction. So the Sabian symbol of the degree where Sirius is located in terms of the Western tropical zodiac, that Sabian symbol is 15 degrees of the sign of Cancer, a group of people who have overeaten and enjoyed it. So, you know, it is referencing symbolically that placement, a satisfaction that is derived through the overconsumption of something. And I literally feel like that is a very on point energy that is going to be flying around out there, and a lot of people are going to be partaking in throughout the course of the week as well. But we just don't want to get it like too excess, because that can be one of the downfalls, of course, of Jupiter energy, things being so out of moderation that a good thing becomes a bad thing. But less likely when we have the three brightest stars in the sky coming into a conjunction together. More so, I think this is definitely kind of like inspiring the pursuit of desires, of passions, the pursuit of something generally with Mars and Mercury also in that sextile together, chasing our dreams, just going after what you want. So I do, as I think I already said this at some point in the report, I do recommend it. I kind of think that that is actually what this energy is for. Even risks to an extent, I think, are likely to be rewarded the way that this particular energy is coming together this week. So an action-oriented good day overall, I would say for sure on Wednesday. Things should be looking up. The outlook is probably seeming quite bright and a great day for going after what it is that you want, but be careful with the overs, overdoing, overcommitting, over-consuming, overindulging, all of that stuff. Thursday, the moon leaves Aries, enters a sign of Taurus. This is going to do a couple different things for us. First of all, it is going to activate our black moon energy. The black moon is currently transiting the sign of Scorpio. The black moon functions in terms of conjunctions and oppositions. So when the moon is in the sign where the black moon is, or the sign opposing the black moon, that is when we are more likely to feel the black moon energy in our lives and experiences. The black moon rules fears, worries, insecurities, doubts, and it oftentimes is like where we're triggered by subconscious issues. And in the sign of Scorpio, this can trigger issues having to do with jealousy and possessiveness and competitiveness that really boils down to the fear of loss. So things along those lines could be manifesting or coming up as we move Thursday, Friday into Saturday. the rest of this week and into the weekend. And we are also going to have that moon in the sign of Taurus as the moon enters Taurus, forming a T-square with Pluto in Aquarius, Mercury in Leo. Mercury, of course, did station direct in an opposition to Pluto, and Mercury is still there as we get the day started on Thursday and being squared by the moon. This is also like an emphasis on the shadow side issues, the darkness, like what's being exposed. I will tell you, you guys, there is a very like psychic spy, x-ray vision, detective oriented, penetrating insight into like the darkest, deepest recesses, like reprogramming the subconscious mind, awakenings to like what has really been pulling the strings and stuff like that, the gears in the machine. That is very much just like all over the day, the way, the vibe on Thursday with that black moon energy going on, and also the moon squaring both Pluto and Mercury. I mean, Mercury in the sign of Leo, Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, that is gaining some type of enlightenment in regards to some of these like deeper, darker, more hidden issues. The black moon energy also is triggered such that, or often in a way that assists us in gaining an awareness of some of these very same things. So this would be a really good day. Self-analysis, introspection, also like detective work or mystery solving or crime solving. That might be kind of like a real pull. You may find yourself just like oriented in that direction mentally, or for some reason interested or intrigued by something that's like mysterious or conspiratorial or hidden or occult, like occult knowledge and stuff like that could hold an extra strong pull or magnetism in the energy of Thursday. But this could also be bringing up, you guys, like intense conversations, of course, confrontations, maybe arguments or power struggles could be going on, information coming out, things being unearthed, secrets being exposed. There could also be, with the moon in that square perhaps, and in the sign of Taurus as well, maybe a level of cognitive dissonance going on, as though like if we were to emotionally acknowledge the truth of what it is that we are seemingly finding out right now, it really would be uncomfortable. It would really kind of like upset the peace or the comfort zone, and people might be trying to like avoid more difficult truths about things because it's emotionally unsettling. But again, that black moon energy also is oftentimes where we are either unconsciously or subconsciously, or perhaps even very consciously facing our fears or being triggered by some type of deeper fear. So, Thursday could be a day of discovery somehow. Maybe some powerful encounter, maybe some powerful or transformative observation or revelation or analysis could come through. Also, obsession, possessiveness, hyper competitiveness, trying to be like overly controlling of things. These can be projections of that shadow side black moon energy coming out as well. So Thursday, I would say, is the probably maybe most emotionally intense day of the week. We are getting into the darker realms of things a bit emotionally on Thursday. Now, Friday, let's talk about Friday now. Friday is one of the more energetically active days of the week. We are still in strong black moon energy. The moon in Taurus will be in opposition with the black moon in Scorpio on Friday, but we have some offsetting aspects that are taking place as well on Friday. Now, number one, that moon transiting through the sign of Taurus, aside from opposing the black moon, is also going to trine the south node in Virgo, sextile the north node in Pisces. On Friday as well, Venus will be in an exact trine and sextile to the nodes also. Venus will be in an exact trine to the north node, sextile to the south node. This is bringing up themes of endings and beginnings, and another day where perhaps this sense of divine alignment, synchronicity, being at the right place at the right time could be a dimension, especially having to do with like interpersonal or relationship dynamics, meetings and encounters and stuff like that. Another thing that I should mention while the moon is transiting the sign of Taurus this week, remember the moon in Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus right now is in the sign of Cancer. That means that Venus and the moon are going to be in a mutual reception with one another as the moon does transit through the sign of Taurus this week. And that is another energy that is very much focused on the home, the family, comfort, nurturing, caretaking, growth, abundance. It's a very receptive feminine energy, just sort of like the conjunction between Jupiter and Venus and Sirius in the sign of Cancer. So that's another energy I do think that is leaning into the abundant, fruitful, gain-oriented, and also very home and family, maternally oriented energy this week, receptive energy this week. This conjunction is happening in the sign of Cancer, right? Cancer rules the home. Cancer rules the local community. This is the family. This is also like the early childhood experience. This is our comfort. This is our security, compassion, nurturing. So like whatever's happening with this Venus-Jupiter-Sirius conjunction may have a lot of qualities or features associated with that Cancerian archetype. And the moon Venus mutual reception is playing right into that whole situation as well. So that really could be a highlight, I guess we could say, of the energy this week. And you know, that is part of what's going on as the moon does transit through the sign of Taurus on Thursday. But we also have these nodal activations going on. So that is, to me, like something coming forward also. Like, again, something developing, something taking the next step, something like moving on or moving up somehow, advancement, growth in the context of either these Cancer themes, you know, home, family, community, or the Venus-Taurus themes generally, partnerships, money, romance, projects, resources, assets, what we're building, what we're growing. And remember, this is also up against that backdrop of these blessed alignments this week because Venus has been in that conjunction with Jupiter, and Jupiter is right there with Sirius as well. So there could be something synchronistic or seemingly like super aligned just about the way that connections are coming together, relations with other people are transpiring. There could be some developments in relational situations or project oriented or financial or material or like resource based dynamics. The moon in Taurus trine the south node, perhaps some type of karmic or material release that is associated with this as well. Some type of ending that does promote growth, creativity, success, expansion. A lot of people could be like getting rid of things maybe to make room for what they're receiving in this energy. And again, the only thing to watch out for is to be careful with overdoing it. Now, let's talk about Saturday. Saturday, the moon leaves the sign of Taurus, enters the sign of Gemini, where the moon will come into a conjunction with Uranus, will form a trine, therefore to Pluto, a trine to Mars. That grand trine in air is again going to be activated by the moon. But this is probably for the last time because after this activation, Mars will have moved beyond the degree range in the sign of Libra, where he is forming that trine. And if you remember, we did have that grand trine going on as a feature of our full moon in Aquarius that took place a couple of days ago. So that energy is being activated again. I would say that Saturday is probably the most unpredictable day of the weekend. Your own feelings about things may be fluctuating or surprising you. Mood swings could definitely be a thing on Saturday. And this is also kind of like an anxious, excitable, impulsive, spontaneous, change-oriented energy. Shocking information, conversations, messages, or even like dreams or awakenings or epiphanies to things like flashes of insight, sudden downloads could be going on here. This could also just turn out to be a bit of a different or an unusual day generally. You may find also that your focus here is on, again, figuring something out, getting to the bottom of something, uncovering some type of secret or hidden knowledge, the inner workings of things coming to life. And, you know, again, like Uranus is a planet of sudden awakening, sudden change. Pluto is what's been hidden and transformation, purge, regeneration, cleaning things out, clearing things out, seeing the light, seeing the truth. All this type of stuff is more likely to be indicated in an energy like what we have coming in on Saturday. And definitely, again, like change oriented. You may find yourself just feeling inspired to make changes somehow on Saturday. Saturday is also the last day when we have the Jupiter-Sirius exact conjunction. On Sunday, Jupiter will leave 14 degrees of the sign of Cancer, which is where this alignment has been taking place, and will break that exact conjunction and we'll move on. Now, of course, we do still have a very tight conjunction between Jupiter and Sirius for the next several days as Jupiter wanes out of that conjunction. That energy is still going to be present. So we are still in these auspicious times. However, that is the last day of the exact alignment. Now let's talk about Sunday, wrap this week up. On Sunday, we are still going to have a Gemini moon going on, and the moon in Gemini is going to square the nodes in Virgo and Pisces. There could be a lot going on Sunday. Noise, distractions, tasks, meetings, things kind of pulling us in several different directions, maybe a bit difficult to focus. And we do still have the Mars-Mercury sextile going on exact on Sunday. As I said, this will be exact through Monday, and the alignment takes place between 4 degrees and 7 degrees of the signs of Leo, where Mercury currently is, and Libra, where Mars currently is. So chances are you're going to be able to get a lot done on Sunday if you put your mind to it, even if it is perhaps a bit of a challenge with that Gemini moon squaring the nodes there. There could be some misunderstandings. There could be some miscommunications that do cause or generate some type of interference. But generally, I do still think that momentum is continuing to accelerate. Things are still moving forward. There is progress that's being made. Gains are happening here, and it is probably a pretty lively, upbeat day, even though on Sunday we no longer have the exact conjunction between Sirius and Jupiter, just the 1 degree off presence and the fact that we've been moving through that all week. I do still think that things are probably going to be looking up. People are probably going to be pretty optimistic or hopeful or inspired about things, and generally having a positive attitude. We actually even have the degree of the black moon, where the black moon is being activated this week, moving into this weekend. 16 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is a girl's face breaking into a smile. Like, even the black moon is talking about it, you guys. We also have Mars on Friday at 6 degrees of the sign of Libra. That Sabian symbol is a man watches his ideals taking concrete form before his inner vision. Another vibe of the week, chasing your dreams, wishing on a star. I have to say it because we have these 3 stars. I mean, Jupiter, Venus, super bright. Venus is the diamond in the sky. Jupiter is like the biggest, brightest star out there. Aside from Sirius, who is the brightest of the fixed stars, we've got all of them coming together. It is that wishing on a star energy, and Mars is literally talking about it. Mars is our action and what we're doing in the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus, having been in that conjunction this week. So a man watches his ideals taking a concrete form before his inner vision, and also a group of people who have overeaten and enjoyed it, satisfaction through whatever it is that we are getting into this week, but we are just making sure not to take it too far. But I have a feeling also there might just literally be people more than average having some really great meals go on this week. So count your blessings, you guys. Be open to receive gifts from the universe. Uranus also is at 2 degrees of Gemini right now. Santa Claus furtively filling stockings, hanging in front of the fireplace. So that's the vibe. And I think that we should just do our best to make the most of it, because this energy doesn't come around all the time. So that's what I have to say about the week, about the astrology that we are heading into, you guys. We're going to get one more card now, a synchronicity card. I am asking God, Spirit, Universe for one final piece of guidance or advice. What do we need to know? What can it benefit us to keep in mind as we head Wednesday into Thursday into Friday and Saturday for our weekend? And we have a card. It says decide. Mars and Mercury in a sextile, and I do think there could be a lot of people who have energy oriented and geared around the decisions that they're making now that are moving things forward. Mercury now direct in the sextile to Mars all week. Very energized decision-making quality to things, and that is what our card for the rest of the week says as well. Decide. And a house divideth against a house falleth, Luke 11:17. When you cannot make your mind up about something, you are battling in your own mind. Your house is unstable. Come to a clear-cut decision about a situation and follow what is good and right. Stick to that decision. Do not waver. So there it is, you guys. You know what to do, and now is the time to do it. Mars is moving out of opposition with Saturn and Neptune. Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune, both retrograde and in the sign of Aries. This depleted and diminished energy levels, and it also skewed our ability to know what exactly it is we should be doing. Mercury retrograde also, this has not been the time to advance. This has not been the time to move forward. This has not been the time when we've had all the answers and things have probably made the most sense. Mercury is now direct in the opposite, or in the aspect to Mars, and Mars is moving out of the range of that disorienting Saturn and Neptune combination. The green light is, I would say, pretty much here, you guys, as we move through the week, and we've also got that super auspicious energy going on. So I do think that this might be the week, if you've been needing to make a decision and waiting on it. This, like I said earlier, decisions, the actions, the even risks that we might be taking in this energy, rewards, payoffs, the right action or blessed actions, and things just working out better than maybe we imagined or thought. And that's our guidance, you guys. Decide. Figure out what you're going to do, take action, make it happen, stick to that decision, do not waver. That's what I have to say. Message from the stars, synchronicity card, and my personal thoughts on all that's going on out there as we move through the week. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would enjoy this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, let me know what's going on with you out there. If you are having experiences that reflect what I'm talking about in this video or any of my other videos, drop me a comment, let me know. That's very valuable information to me. I'm so grateful for your presence on my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a Facebook group where I post images of those boards. That is linked in my description box below. Click the description, click the link. If you want to see what's on that board, go there, and that's where I post the full images, and you'll be able to see those. And come back with me, you guys, on Monday. We are gonna have, of course, another video to get into. We've got more astrology coming up as we continue to move through the month of August, and we've got vibe shifts coming, you guys. The sun is preparing to enter the sign of Virgo, and that's where we're going next. So I'll be back to talk all about it. You should come back with me. I will see you then. Have a beautiful rest of your week and weekend, you guys, and until next time, bye.